Hello and welcome to this month's video feature all about talent management. Talent management is something we talk a lot about in HR, but that's because it's so important. From the beginning of a person's career, the whole way through to the end, talent management is something that HR has to take seriously. But it's not just something we tell ourselves to be good at. Did you know that the statistics show that people that are good at talent management are actually more successful in their career in general in HR? And companies that put talent management at the forefront of their planning tend to have a better bottom line and to attract better talent. That means it's so important. With that in mind, I spoke to two HR superstars from DirectLine Group, and I'm going to go ahead and let them tell their story.
My name's Victoria Talbot. Everyone calls me Vix. I've been at DLG for 16 years, but I've moved around widely within that. So started in marketing, I've been into commercial, and then about 10 years ago made the move into HR, really with a view to look at how we can use our data to make more informed commercial people decisions. That involves sending out one of our first employee surveys, and then whole new careers born. So I now am the culture and engagement lead for DLG. So I lead all things around our high performance culture, how we manage performance, feedback, well-being, recognition, people leader capability, all sorts in there, really, really interesting.
I'm the acquisition lead here for DirectLine Group. I've been with the organisation slightly shorter time than Vix, so I've been 15 months rather than 15 years. So I now look after all of the volume delivery and onboarding as well.
So we have approximately 10,000 employees, and we're nationwide. So we have about 36 hubs and offices altogether, 8 main ones. But we're hybrid, so we have lots of home workers, and we're very flexible with how and where and when people work.
Back in November, probably about a month after I joined, and what we really wanted to look at was the EVP is really the thread that connects everything across our employee experience. So it's the promise that we have internally, aligning what we say with what we do. And it really is that thread and the catalyst behind everything from employee communications. It's what defines us in terms of the way that we attract people, the way we retain people, how we develop our skills in the future.
I think something like this, it can't be designed in the boardroom, although actually it's one that everyone has a personal view on, and they'll hypothesize. It's really easy to fall into the trap of just sort of shaving the corners off things and just whittling it down a little bit. So you end up with something that everyone can live with, as opposed to something that we really love. And
4 major sort of key objectives right at the beginning, which was around how do we engage with external and internal talent, and that's been a real key thread all the way through this, because I think lots of organizations look at these types of projects and say we'll leave it at the front door, but what we wanted to do is look at not just the candidate life cycle but the whole employee life cycle. So we did lots of research internally and externally. We did focus groups across the whole organization, so 16 focus groups of around 10 to 12 people against each of those. And again, we did it differently than a sort of a blueprint and stereotype, which is, right, we'll do this division and this division. We actually then went out and said, well, let's talk to people who have just returned from things like maternity leave, or people who are high performers. So we looked at particular audiences as well as actually departments. And you need to paint that really realistic picture to bring people on that journey.
How do you make sure that people at all levels, are heard? And how do you, maybe Craig for you, hire efficiently, and then Victoria for you, progress people through the talent management cycle? How do you keep efficiency with bespoke and that human element?
And feedback to work on, and that's led us to align now. We have an overarching EVP and employer brand for the organisation, as you would expect. But what that's really allowed us to get to on a granular level now is that we understand the candidate personas in each of these individual areas and employee personas. So top level, what engages people, what motivates people, what keeps them with the organisation, but also looking from an external lens, getting to the granular level of where do they interact on a social media basis, where can we get our message in front of them at the right time, at the right place. Do we need to dial up? Is it culture that they're more engaged with? Is it more about career progression? Is it more about salary and benefits? And I think a lot of that research that we gathered during that process has not only driven that, but been really insightful. Because the last time I've done these types of projects, pre-COVID, people's motivations and desires are so different to what they are now. And if you look at the top 5 and the feedback that we got, and Vix will probably talk about this in a moment, historically you'd expect it to be sort of environmental factors, it's around your salary, your benefits, and a bit about career progression. It was so far down on the scale now. So it was a bit of an eye-opening moment that we actually said, look, the message we need to get in front of these people is completely different, and has informed lots of decisions for us moving forward as well, not just your recruitment and the engagement part, but other decisions as a business.
I think one of our values, Sarah, so we're the same as lots of businesses. We have lots and lots of stuff. You know, we have a vision, a mission, a purpose, we have customer outcomes, sustainability pillars, a strategy, we have 6 behaviours, we have 6 values. And what we've really tried to do is just to really simplify that piece together. So we just recently reframed our values to make sure that actually people can't think in 12s, they think in 3s or 4s. So how do we make sure we're absolutely crystal clear that wherever you are in the business, you know what we value and you know what you really need to stand for, and we need to make sure that that makes sense to absolutely everybody, so it doesn't matter which part of the business you're in, that is relatable and you go, I get that and I can own that, and that's something that means something for me, so I can sort of really drive against that.
Stay fun, you know, how do you keep things lighthearted after such a big revamp and stuff like that? You know, what are some of the ways that DLG employees get to have fun together?
So I think if you were asking DLG employees what is it they love about DLG, they will almost unanimously say the culture and the people. You know, we are a very caring, very supportive, very kind, and we love a bit of fun, and we've gotten to be really creative with how we do that, obviously with hybrid working. So you will see at any time, whether that's your quizzes, your step challenges, your picture challenges. We like to get together for the Chief Exec Awards, have some drinks, share some bits around. We do loads for community, charity, fundraising. We love a bit of healthy competition. So I think, you know, people are never shy coming forward at DLG. They tend to sort of throw themselves in. Whatever it is that we do, they're up for it. They'll get on board. Selfie, you know, whatever. It is a very sort of fun, family-friendly culture, which we're really proud of.
That's great.
I don't think I can add much to that.
No, that was pretty comprehensive.
I
can't let my hair down.
Craig, you're not fun. Just take a back seat.
To add to that as well, we try and get together for collaboration events as a business, but also as the HR team, and then actually individual sort of teams underneath that as well. And we try and do as much as we possibly can. The connection days in the office are exactly that. We try and do social events, and we try and do lunches and those types of things. And it's not come in to do your day job. Don't bring your laptop and just do what you can do working from home. So I think that helps and fosters some of it as well. But then exactly what Vic said.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Right, we're getting ready to wrap up because we've got so much great material here, and it's really nice to hear what you guys are doing and to, you know, just be transparent about, you know, what you love about your job. But I interviewed somebody a couple of months ago, and she said something that has just really stuck with me. And she said, don't forget to be a human resources person. She said, you know, we can always feel, because, you know, you're the careers counselors and the guidance counselors and the, you know, the mums and the dads and the, you know, you name it, of the company. And obviously you have to balance the company's needs with employees' needs. But, you know, I know that you two, from previous conversations we had, are very employee focused. What's one thing that you feel in each of you, a personality trait that makes you a good HR professional? I'll give it 1, 2, 3 so you can think, and we'll go to Craig first.
God. I think if I look at how I've developed my career previously and taking some of the best traits from, you know, previous managers, etc., it's the trust that I give the teams, and the empowerment, and actually, you know, hoping that people can push themselves out of their comfort zones, and that helps with their own personal development and that type of thing. So I think from a personal perspective, my creativity and innovation, I just like prodding and poking stuff and actually saying I want to do different, and looking at the market and saying, well, that's great, but can we do something completely different or do something better? helps with that as well. So not sure if that's one thing or a myriad of different things.
Okay, Vix, over to you.
Yeah, I'm a very green leader. So sort of growing, maturing throughout my career, I definitely noticed I had a sort of different approach to a sort of what I saw around me, who were very sort of red, very driven leaders, and I really have used that as a bit of a superpower. So my ability to really sort of connect with people, create very safe spaces. I can have very direct and honest coaching conversations, and I kind of feel like I'm doing it for the green. So I like to sort of show there's a different way to be, a different way of sort of getting successful and achieving. So like to try and inspire the other greens as much as I can.
No, absolutely, I'd echo that. Vix is amazing at feedback.
Oh, that's wonderful.
That was great. Well done, Craig.
Thanks so much for both of you for your time. You've been absolutely wonderful, and really looking forward to checking in maybe in a year's time and seeing what more you're doing with the company, and wishing you the best day ever.